Hi guys, in this video we will talk about how to spend your time to be richer. It's a concept I came across many years ago whilst a teenager in my parents' humble abode. Though now with the ability to earn and having humans to look after, it's more important than ever. Hi, I'm Fifi, a mum engineering consultant living in London, and I make videos about saving money, investing and understanding the economy to make better financial decisions. Now, growing up, our family was not poor, though neither were we well off. Growing up in the UK, we're blessed with a good social system, education, healthcare and so on and so forth. My parents bought their home and my father was a fashion business owner. The 80s and 90s were not kind to the garment making industry in London, and many of those jobs over time have moved to lower cost production centres or even to greater dependency on machines. Having said that, the industry did leave a nice legacy in London, East London especially, around Shoreditch and those areas. If you know, you know. As a result, we did experience financial insecurity, and I began to understand the financial stresses that come with not having the cash to support the needs. I did get that scarcity equation and the difficulties that it may create. It was also the first time I instinctively understood cash flow rich, asset poor. I knew what it meant, even if I didn't quite know the term that would define it back then. And it probably explains why we drive a Toyota Yaris. It hurts a lot less when I have two babies who are travel sick every time we drive more than 40 minutes. At the moment, it works a dream. In my teenage years, I wanted to learn more about money, and Kiyosaki and his great book, I'll pop a link in the description down there below. And I started educating myself more on how the rich do it. Attended career seminars, spoke to city folk, networked and opened a brokerage account with my primitive view of buying stuff after it falls. I was essentially a distressed asset trader. Seriously, who knew there was a name for what I was doing back then? But it did come down to the fundamentals. The rich buy assets and make money. The poor buy liabilities that lose their money or make them no money. And the more trash we buy, the less freedom we have. And that's quite a deep thought when you actually think about it. The rich obviously don't play by the same rules as everyone else, but they have rules, and we can all adopt some of those rules and some of those behaviours. Those rules are rooted in understanding money and how we can turn that money into little soldiers called capital and send them to battle for us. If that's not dramatic for you, then I don't know what it is. Actually, the elections. Also, again, per Robert Kiyosaki and his amazing book, he had this down and it worked a dream. Read the book, it's a must. Fundamentally, rich people obviously command a level of financial literacy. Whether it's taught innately or deliberately, they also tend to buy luxuries from money that their money or capital has made them. And that is the key. Make your money work for you and then use that money that your money has made in order to buy the things that you want. And those who are poor, and we can be cash flow rich and asset poor, i.e. work as a salaried employee and earn a nice wage but spend it all on mortgages, car financing and holidays and so on and so forth, as an example. So in order to be rich, you have to stop spending money on items that lose value or make others richer at your expense. Instead, start spending money on things that make you money over time. And here are some examples which people don't always bucket into that list of assets, but investing in yourself builds your human capital, which would ultimately allow you to command a higher net worth, guys. And there are, of course, a ton of other assets we talk about here on the channel, like stocks, funds, property, commodities, and so on and so forth. But today, I want to give a shout out to those cheaper items that can be as rewarding, with some examples from me. The first one I want to talk about is personal coaching. This can be in the form of fitness. I have my own, and the energy and happiness that I get from it allows me to work a lot harder. For example, my husband got a career coach. He took voice projection classes, acting classes, all to boost his confidence in his work role. The point is, identify the areas that need work, think about how it would add value to your life, and most likely the value to your life is far, far greater than the money that you've actually spent. The second one is online courses. So I took a course online to learn YNAB. It was free and it took 3 hours, and now I use YNAB like a whiz, and so does my husband. I learned Notion from a couple of hours of YouTube videos, and all it cost was my time, and it has turbocharged my productivity, both personal and professional. In addition to that, I took a paid course in running running a business. Then as a result, I built amazing systems for my own business. I mean, there is no doubt that we can't know it all, but we should continue our learning in some way or another. The current economy, as Yuval in his amazing, my most favorite book right now, Sapiens, puts it, he says the world works on specialists. Where we need those specialisms, we should seek them out and pay with our time. Our time does have a monetary value or actual money. And don't be a Scrooge to bettering your knowledge, because there's nothing lost in that. The third thing we'll talk about are books. The cheapest and easiest way to learn. It improves EQ, IQ, connects neurons. There'll always be a book on a specialism that you want to build on. Read a book on property investing if that's what you want to get into. Why women make less money than men. Dividend investing, the best investors of our time. And then talk about it, because that will just reinforce those ideas. The next thing I'll talk about is healthy food, guys. Unhealthy food over a long time creates underlying health issues which bring pain and misery. And I'm not going to bore you all on it, because there's 1,000 other channels that you can watch to go and do that. I am always pretty cognizant that preparing food is time consuming, and when you are hustling, working from home, doing this new normal thing, and with a 1 and 2 year old in the background, guys, it's hard. I'm not gonna lie. There is a great book, I'll link that in the description below. It's called The Doctor's Kitchen. It has recipes built around nutritional power of food. If you are struggling with cooking itself, then have a few healthy frozen meals in the kitchen. In the UK, we have a few that do this for you actually, and right now I'm a big fan of Mindful Chef. Again, I'll pop a link down below. They are amazing. Like, you just order what you want for the week and you get healthy ready-made frozen meals. I am also a huge advocate of meal prep, which I do a lot of as well. And guys, I know nothing is better than a cheeky Domino's pizza when you're struggling for time, but factor that in maybe like once a week. I do want to mention another thing while I'm here: sleeping better. This can cost very little and completely depends on your life circumstances, but some of the key aspects, for example, put your phone outside your room and turn it off. Social media apps are actually designed to throw you into a rabbit hole. Buy a nice mattress though, that's a good shout. I got myself an Emma and sleep like a queen. It's amazing. Sleeping deeper, longer and more comfortably and within your sleep cycles. And I don't think we should skimp in order to make sure that we have that right setting for sleep. Sleep is a luxury as well. I'm normally still up a couple of times at night because of my mum radar, regardless of whether the humans wake up or not. It's just how it is, and it will totally depend on where you are in your life. Here in the next bit, I want to talk about a few things that might actually break a few hearts, and these are some of the worst things to buy. The first one are unnecessary tech gadgets. I still haven't figured out the point of a smartwatch. Guys, let me know down there below, yes or no. I was deliberating over it for ages and then I just didn't make the switch. And yes, I do agree, if your current laptop is rubbish and slow, or your phone is slowing down, then upgrade it. Saving time is money, but just buying tech for being cool, that's a little bit silly. The second thing, a flashy car. This links also to the next one as well. Cars are not assets, they depreciate, and as we consumers pay for that, sometimes with the privilege of added interest. Don't get me wrong, I can't live without my car, but I don't need a new iteration every few years like car manufacturers and the government encourages me to do. It's a constant money pit, really. Third thing, vanity. Flashy clothes, accessories. I like dressing thrifty and dressing up outfits. Don't get me wrong, don't raid my shoe cupboard because that is a luxury in itself. That being said, understanding the value of money has so far tended to keep me off those purchases, especially now because the equation doesn't feel right. Never say never though, and where I do get to a stage where I am content with my asset return, it will change. Sometimes the true power is knowing you can afford it but not needing to actually buy it. Now, the reality is it's your money. Spend it on what you want. You've earned it, yours to spend. But the trick is to buy assets and then buy your luxuries from the asset cash flow. Buy the car with your rental income. Flashy nights out from your dividends. Get the house upgrade when you cash in on the business you have built. Guys, just get with that flow. And As the great David Ramsey put it, saving without mission is pretty much garbage. Your money needs to work for you, not lie around you. Now, the majority of us will work for money only, ever, and that is a scary thought. The majority don't know how to make money work for them. In the book, The Richest Man in Babylon, I have done a review on this book on my channel from those cringe binge days. The concept that money is being turned into workers is a powerful one, and I'll pop a link at the end. When you do start thinking of money like that, you realize that the opportunity cost of spending your money and giving its earning power away to someone else to use it for themselves is a little bit unfair, if you like. Now that we have talked about assets, let's have a quick chat about why cash, when not converting it into assets, is bad. And that's primarily because of inflation. Inflation is the rate of price increase per year, and it's the reason why things in the pound or dollar store aren't really a pound or dollar anymore. And if prices are going up and your money is sitting in a cash account earning next to no interest as well while sitting there, then purchasing power of your money goes down. So in effect, you're being penalized for holding cash and actually getting poorer while doing so. Now, every year you don't get a pay rise, you're getting poorer. So you need to know about inflation, people. I've linked some videos here where I talk a little bit more about inflation and why it's so important to understand in your personal finances. The pennies do add up. While I'm here, I also want to mention the power of leveraging and getting your money to work for you. And there's a video on that here as well, on how to be free in 10 years. Let me know your thoughts down below.